Hello, my name is Kristen Bolden, and I would like to welcome you to the other side of history. In this talk, I would like to give you the history of Frederick III, who was also the Elector of Saxony and the protector of the reformer Martin Luther. Now, Frederick was not only a patron of the Protestant Reformation as a result of his defense of Martin Luther, but he founded the university there at Wittenberg. Now, this university was founded in 1502, and it provided fertile ground for which the university was able to grow there, and also the Protestant Reformation. Now, both Martin Luther and Philip Melanchthon, they taught at the Wittenberg University. Now, Frederick was born in 1463 and succeeded his father as Elector of Saxony in 1486. The Saxon lands, they were immensely wealthy due to silver mines that were up in the mountains. The emperor at this time was Maximilian, but in 1519, the emperor, he died. So Frederick was considered the imperial vicar, which meant that he functionally served as king after the death there of Maximilian until a successor was elected. He was the favorite, Frederick III, to take the crown, and the other electors, they actually favored Frederick over electors that were even their own. Even Pope Leo X and Charles V, who actually became the next emperor, they hoped that Frederick would accept the crown. He was given a golden rose in an effort to persuade him to accept the throne. Frederick did not, however, want to become the next emperor. Instead, he helped to secure the election for Charles V. Frederick was able to negotiate an agreement which limited Charles' power, however. Perhaps if Frederick took the crown, he could have done more for the Protestant Reformation. Or perhaps this position was just what God wanted for him as the Elector of Saxony. Frederick was a religious man, and one night he had a dream. He told it to his brother, who was Duke John, and was then co-regent. The elector said, "I must tell you a dream, brother, which I had last night, and of which I should like to know the meaning. It is so firmly graven in my memory that I should never forget it, even were I to live 1,000 years, for it came 3 times, and always with new circumstances." Frederick's brother then asked him if this was a good or a bad dream. Frederick said, "I cannot tell. God knows. Having gone to bed last night, tired and dispirited, I soon fell asleep after saying my prayers, and slept calmly for about 2 hours and a half. I then awoke, and all kinds of thoughts occupied me till midnight. I reflected how I should keep the festival of All Saints. I prayed for the wretched souls in purgatory, and begged that God would direct me, my counsels, and my people according to the truth. I then fell asleep again, and dreamt that the Almighty sent me a monk, who was a true son of Paul the Apostle. He was accompanied by all the saints, in obedience to God's commands, to bear him testimony, and to assure me that he did not come with any fraudulent design, but that all he should do was conformable to the will of God. They asked my gracious permission to let him write something on the doors of the palace chapel at Wittenberg, which I conceded through my chancellor. Upon this, the monk repaired thither and began to write. So large were the characters that I could read from Schweinitz what he was writing. The pen he used was so long that its extremity reached as far as Rome, where it pierced the ears of a lion which lay there, and shook the triple crown on the Pope's head. All the cardinals and princes, they ran up hastily and endeavored to support it. You and I both tendered our assistance. I stretched out my arm. That moment I awoke, with my arm extended, in great alarm and very angry with the monk, who could not guide his pen better. I recovered myself a little. It was only a dream. I then dreamt that all the princes of the empire, and we along with them, hastened to Rome and endeavored one after another to break this pen. But the greater our exertions, the stronger it became. It crackled as if it had been made of iron. We gave it up as hopeless. I then asked the monk where he had got that pen and how it came to be so strong. This pen, replied he, belonged to a Bohemian goose 100 years ago, referring to John Huss. I had it from one of my old schoolmasters, and it is so strong because no one can take the pith out of it. And I myself was quite astonished at it. Now, on a sudden, I heard a loud cry from the monk's long pen, and issued a host of other pens. I awoke a third time, and it was daylight. The chancellor was also in the room as Frederick related this dream to his brother. Duke John, his brother, turned to the chancellor and asked his opinion of the dream, adding that he wished there was a Joseph or a Daniel with them that could reveal dreams. The chancellor said, "Your highnesses know the vulgar proverb, that the dreams of young women, wise men, and great lords have generally some hidden meaning. But we shall not learn the significance of this for some time, until the events have come to pass, to which it relates. For this reason, confide its accomplishment to God, and commit all things into his hands." Frederick's brother agreed with the chancellor, and thought it was best not to rack their brains to discover the interpretation. "God will direct everything in his own glory," the Duke said. The Elector Frederick also commented that, "May our faithful God do even so. Still, I shall never forget this dream. I have thought of one interpretation, but I shall keep it to myself. Time will show, perhaps, whether I have conjectured rightly." We know that at this time, the Frederick Elector did not know, but as time went on, he did know what the dream meant. Now, the Elector was a man who believed in freedom of speech and freedom of thought. It was the Elector Frederick who insisted that Martin Luther was heard before the Diet of Worms. It was also he who faked a highway attack on Luther's way back to Wittenberg, abducting him and hiding him there at the Wartburg Castle. When defending Luther, the Elector Frederick said, as Galileo had said, "If what Luther speaks is not of God, it will come to naught. If Luther is of God, nothing will be able to stand in his way, for those who are opposed will be fighting against God." Even under the pressure of the Pope, Frederick did not waver. The Pope wrote a letter to Frederick, and it reads like this: "Dear son, when we think of your noble and worthy family, of you who are its ornament and head, when we call to mind how you and your ancestors have always desired to uphold the Christian faith, and the honor and dignity of the Holy See, We cannot believe that a man who abandons the faith can rely upon your Highness's favor and daringly give the rein to his wickedness. Yet it is reported to us from every quarter that a certain friar, Martin Luther, hermit of the order of St. Augustine, has forgotten, like a child of the evil one and despiser of God, his habit and his order, which consists in humility and obedience, and that he boasts of fearing neither the authority nor the punishment of any man, being assured of your favor and protection. But as we know that he is deceived, we have thought fit to write to your Highness and to exhort you in the Lord to watch over the honor of your name as a Christian prince, the ornament, glory, and sweet savor of your noble family, to defend yourself from these calumnies and to guard yourself not only from so serious a crime as that imputed to you, but still further even from the suspicion that the rash presumption of this friar tends to bring upon you. The Pope at this time was Pope Leo X. And from this letter, you can see how with one hand Rome scatters the intoxicating incense of flattery, and with the other she holds concealed her terrors and revenge. God protected both the Elector Frederick and Martin Luther. The Elector died in 1525 at one of his hunting castles. He died as one who accepted the Protestant faith and converted to Lutheranism. His successor was his brother, the Duke John there, whom he had shared his dream, and who also became a Lutheran even before he became the next elector. A history of the Reformation of the 16th century would not be complete without giving a tribute to this great man, Frederick the Wise, the protector of Martin Luther. God is in charge. He is the one who puts kings and princes on their thrones. The Elector Frederick III of Saxony was a most important prince for this very important time in Earth's history. At this time, I would just like to encourage you to click on that like and that subscribe button if you have enjoyed this talk. And thank you for leaving your comments, and I would like to encourage you to leave any comments you would like. I enjoy listening to what you have to say, and I want to express my appreciation for you listening, and I would like to just say God bless to each one of you.